Hey, what is going on? This guy right here, I'm Dale Maxwell. Where are you and what are you watching? This is Kick Assery. What is Kick Assery and why does it matter? Kick Assery is where I have this opportunity to work in this realm, this live streaming Facebook realm, and I have the opportunity to share amazing people with you, like the gal I have on today. She's been on once before where we talked about program called Strength Finders, Clifton Strength Finders, and she revealed my top 10 strengths, and it was incredible. Rhonda Boyle is who we have on, and she has taken the game to the next level. She's also a law of attraction guru, and I'm super stoked that she was willing and able to come on, and we're going to talk about something that I believe there's this many people in the world that have issues with it, at least in my world. Let's put it that way. So without further ado, I want to introduce this young lady, Rhonda. I am also the producer of the show. So if I look confused for a second or two, then that's why. Rhonda, good morning. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you come from? What's the story?
Well, hey there, Dale Maxwell. I sure am glad to be here with you. I am Rhonda Boyle, and I am a strengths activation coach, a law of attraction coach and facilitator, and I use neuroscience principles to help people learn how to be who they are so they can go out and get what they want. So that is me. You can find me at rhondaboyle.com.
Awesome. Once again, I'm the producer of the show too, so I'm having to bounce all over the place. And Rhonda, I don't know if you know about this, guys. I'm going to go off on a skew for just a second. So here's something that's really, really cool is that Be Live, the platform that we use to produce the show onto Facebook Live, they have created what's called the Live Video Hub, where they're taking all of the Be Live shows that opt into this, and they're sharing them out to the world as like a central broadcasting hub for all of us. And what's really cool is that I was just over there checking it out, and they highlight a video every hour or so. I was just looking, we're the highlighted video on the video hub right now. So smile and wave to everybody around the world. Australia, Europe, Great Britain, Africa, they're all on it. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So now that I'm finished with my skew, Rhonda, okay, what are we talking about today?
Money. That's what we're going to talk about. And most people don't want to talk about money, including that, that has forever not been my favorite topic, but I'm talking about it now, and I'm talking about it furiously because I understand where most people are with their money mindset, and it's really kind of in the tank, don't you think?
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I am probably as guilty or more guilty than anyone else. And you and I have talked about this. Guys, Rhonda has coached me through a lot of stuff. She's trying to pound into my thick skull, the law of attraction stuff. And we've had many conversations about this. So yeah, you're 100% right. And especially where I grew up, it's interesting where I grew up, and I've verified this with some of the buddies that I grew up with, is that people who had money were really looked down upon for having money because, it was a very economically stagnant community. So if you moved into the community, you had money, then you were looked down upon. It was really weird now that I look back on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's so funny, Dale, is that money is, if you think about it, money is just paper and metal coins that have a head stamped on it and a building on the back. And 100% of what we know about money has been conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's been conditioned in us through our raising. It's been conditioned in us through our education. It's been conditioned into us through the environment that we live in. It's conditioned into us through our relationships, particularly a marriage relationship. Oftentimes couples come to the relationship with completely different money mindsets. And you know that money is cited as the number one, financial problems is cited as the number one reason for couples getting. It's a really important topic that most of us don't want to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Because it brings up those negative feelings, those things of, well, I had, we didn't have this growing up, and we couldn't afford this, and we were told no, 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 because why? We can't afford it. We don't have the money.
Because we don't have any money. We can't afford that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. There's not enough. It's a scarcity mentality that each of us has somewhere to some degree. Even someone, even the very wealthy have money mindsets because, why is Bill Gates not running the whole world? He's got more money, probably than God, same thing with Warren Buffett, and so why do they not own everything? It's because there's a certain point where they hit some type of ceiling. I certainly would love to have the money ceiling that Warren Buffett has. However, that there's in each of us, there's something. And when you mentioned those, you said it just now, those feelings that come up, those feelings. So here's what's so interesting about those feelings. They're not real. They're real to you. They're coming from your subconscious mind. Your mind is talking to you through your body. Mm-hmm. Sometimes our subconscious mind talks to us through thoughts that dance through your mind, but your subconscious mind also tells you things through your body, through feelings.
Chest, or stomach issues, or headaches, or right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so when you have these feelings around money, whatever it is, you have certainly bumped up against a money block. And your subconscious mind is coming up and going, boop, boop, emergency. We've got to keep Dale safe. Boop, boop. And it's giving you this feeling that causes a reaction in you. Boom. And then you react the way you have been programmed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
So it's really a matter of understanding the feelings that are happening. And so often, Dale, we feel shame around that. And we're afraid to talk about it. And we don't want anybody to know about it because we think that we're the only ones having that feeling. But the reality is we all are having those come up for us at some point. Even at the grocery store, when you're comparing, what you're buying, the purchase that you're about to make, you're looking for something based on a preconditioned notion.
Yeah.
Something is preconditioned in you. And so you're even shopping, you're picking this item or you're picking that item based off of a mindset that you have. Now that mindset may not necessarily be around money, but it certainly usually includes money in the process.
Well, and going back to there's a misquote, there's a Bible misquote that drives me batty. Is the root of all evil is money? No, it's not. It's the love of, or it's it's you hit it at the very beginning. And this is something that I have to remind myself of all the time because I struggle with these things. This is a process for me to get through. This is something that the one and only Rhonda Boyle is helping me with my vocabulary and how I talk to myself, is that it's a tool. It's no different than a hatchet that's being used for, or a hammer that's being used for, or a saw that's being used for. It's a tool for us to use to do what it is at that moment. That's all it is. But we've stigmatized it and we've created this. It's the thing. No, it's a thing.
Right. We have. And that's where all of those feelings come up. So we've each done it in a different way. And so then we have this, we feel pressure, we feel anxiety, we feel stress. There's not enough money at the end of the month. There's too much month at the end of the money, and
Right.
or
Yep.
however that phrase is. We can't afford it. It's too expensive. It's this, it's that, and it's the other. And, I even think about how, telephone solicitors, for example, call your house and they want $25 for something. And how many times have you said, oh, I can't afford it? I can't afford to give you any money. And
Right.
the reality is you can afford it. However, your finances are otherwise engaged. So when you say, I can't afford it, in your mind, you're just further sinking that in that you cannot afford it when it's not true. We speak about money in ways that are not even true. They are true for us in that moment. It's a belief, but it's not even true. It's not that you don't have the money. It's that your resources are otherwise engaged elsewhere. I'm giving to other charities, so I can't give to your charity right now.
Well, and when you talk resources, what it says to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, that resource is maybe I don't have that resource, dollars and cents in the bank, but I have a resource of ability to attract more of that. I have a resource to go out and make things happen in my life so that because I don't know, it's almost like people look at money as binary. It's either you have it or you don't have it.
Right.
And I don't feel that way. Okay, let me ask you this question. This is kind of a roundabout way to get to where I'm going with this, but what is your number one asset, do you feel, when it comes to this subject?
Your mind.
Your mind.
Yes.
And your mind creates the ability to make more money.
That's right.
That's our number.
It either creates it or it doesn't. It either attracts more money into your life, or it repels money.
Right.
Those are your choices. Money is circulating all around us all the time, 24/7. Hey, Wynn. Hey, Claudia. It's circulating constantly. And we are either attracting it to us or we are repelling it. And I think so many people, because of their money mindset and because of the way they think and feel about money, which again goes back to conditioning. It goes back to the environment that we were raised in, the way our parents, and who knows what that is. Our parents may have had a stressful month and had trouble paying the bills. And so now we have that feeling, that it's hard to pay bills. How many people think that it's hard to make money? They even think that they have to work hard for money, and they don't leave open the possibility of, miracles to happen to bring money into your life. Hey, Stacy. So you know what I'm saying? It's like your subconscious mind comes up and gives you a feeling. And if you don't understand that feeling is real for you, but not really real, then, and you just, it's a reaction. You're reacting.
So speaking of the conditioning, when you were just saying that, what popped in my mind, the memories and the things that I was hearing in my mind was, you work hard. This is what was preached to us. You work hard, you make a few bucks, you raise a family, and you struggle through life. I mean, that was kind of the mantra of you make a few bucks, you work your tail off, and you try to live through retirement. I mean, that's what the conditioning, the things that I was hearing jumped in.
Yeah, all of those messages come up, but here's the thing, Dale, is they come up in the form of feelings. And unless you stop and examine those feelings, like, where's that feeling coming from? Why am I feeling this pressure? If you don't ask those questions, and most people don't, they are so quick to get out of that feeling. It's like the feeling, react, react.
Because it's not fun.
No, but you're reacting the same way every time. And, if you keep thinking about it the same way, expecting a different solution, a different outcome, then you're a little insane there,
That's the definition of insanity for sure.
It is.
So here's my question. So what have you done? What have you created? You like this segue? What have you created to battle this, to really confront this on its nose. And guys,
Well,
this is awesome.
actually,
Listen, this is you need to be listening to this because this is freaking awesome.
so my husband and I recently retired. It's pretty exciting. He's 57 years old, retired.
Good for
Not
you.
many people can do that. And so, this money mindset, this money issue comes up so often. It is just prevalent in my law of attraction work because it's just the biggest struggle. If I ask anybody in the whole world, name one thing that you want more of, they're going to tell you money. And so I had this vision, if you will, of this money game. And so my husband and I we launched the Spend the Money game, and that's what it's called, Spend the Money game. We start a new round about every 3 weeks. And right now, if you want access, it's at Spend the Money Game 4 right on Facebook, and you can pop the link in or I'll hit that later. And so what we do, he is Mr. Moneybucks, and he doles out money every day for 14 days. And it is funny money. It's real money. Like, we use real dollars. It is funny money in that it is not real, but we ask you to go out and use your imagination and spend the money by midnight. And so what happens in the game, because we start with small amounts and then we incrementally raise the numbers, and you never know what kind of money you're going to get every day. And it teaches you lessons because you start to bump up against your money ceiling. However, it's not real. So this is what's so interesting about the game, is that you still feel the pressure, even though it's funny money. It's not even real. And I have to keep going in and reminding people. The game itself is 14 days, and it comes fully with all of the training and the understanding about what we're talking about what happens in your brain and why are you getting that feeling and what can you do about it. And so that's what it's all about. It's a safe place for people to explore their relationship with money, so that they can start to feel, wow, why is it that I can't seem to earn more money? Or why is it that there's never enough here, there, or whatever? Because in reality, in the game, 14 days of the game, most people who play are spending in their imaginations, right? So it's funny money, and we tell you clearly we're not supporting you pressing the enter button with your credit card. And so when they are playing with typically more money than they make in sometimes 2 or 3 years as an individual, and so it becomes kind of gangster money. And, you really have to learn how to suspend your disbelief and play inside of your imagination. And that's what we really teach, because your money mindset is based on your experiences and the way you think about money, which happens inside of your imagination. So here's the thing, Dale, you can change the way you think about money through your thinking. Literally, by choosing to think in a different way, we can create a new neural pathway. This is a little bit of neuroscience. You create a new place in your brain, a new path that your brain now knows and files away as a memory. As a memory. If you can actually live in your imagination, you can create what you want in your mind's eye and see it and then feel it and believe that it's possible. You actually new neural pathway inside your brain, and your mind files that away as a memory. And all of a sudden, things start to change around you. You start looking, one of the things that we teach is how to pay off debt using funny money. And in your mind, you can pay off your debt and release the pressure that you feel around money just by using your imagination and imagining yourself paying it off, imagining the final bill coming in the mail that says paid in full, imagining what you're going to do after you pay off the whatever it is that you're paying off. And your your brain doesn't know the difference. Let me tell you how I know this is true. And I believe you played in the first game with us.
I did, and I want to share my experience. So
yeah, well,
get out what you need to get out, because I want to talk about it too.
I do. I want you to, but I want to share this one experience. I had this one lady, she called me or sent me a message about, I don't know, we were probably about a week into the game. And she said, Rhonda, I got to tell you what happened. She said, I was about to make an appointment. She's a real estate agent. She says, I was about to make an appointment with somebody. And I thought, ooh, I wonder, let me check before I can commit to that date, because the cement guy is coming to pour the pad for the new driveway that she was creating. And she said, I went to my calendar and I looked it up, and she said, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find when he was coming. And so, I asked my husband, when is the cement guy coming? And he's like, what are you talking about? And bam, she suddenly realized that she had hired the cement man in the game. But her mind thought it was real. Isn't that interesting? Because her mind had filed the purchase away for the cement guy as a memory, and she was going, where's it on there, So yeah, so share what happened to you. I can't wait to hear.
I love it. Okay, so you gave me the opportunity to jump in when you first were developing this, and you and I had some phenomenal conversations offline about it, and I truly appreciate that. And so, guys, what's incredible about it is you start off with like $1,000 or $2,000, and like she said, every day at, what was it, 10 a.m.? I can't remember what it was.
It's by noon, but it's about 8:30 or 9.
Okay. Well, okay, so they roll it out at a certain time of the day, and it says, okay, you have this much money and you have to spend it by midnight. Well, the intent also is that you're not just spending the money. You have to document. You're supposed to, of course, time and everything, but you're supposed to document, okay, you bought new tires, because that's what I did. I was like, okay, $1,000. What do I need right now to alleviate anxieties and everything? I was like, okay, I need new tires. I need to do this, and I need a new sink. And, so at the beginning it was like, okay, let's get all these little things taken care of. And, so I went out and I found the sink I wanted, and I found the tires I wanted. And you actually write it out. I mean, this is, like Rhonda was saying, is that you need to believe this. So you need to go through it. It's not just, I'm going to buy tires today. I bought tires today, $800. No, what kind of tires? What car were they for? How long were they supposed to last? And at the beginning, it was pretty easy. I'll be honest with you, because it's all the piddly fart stuff that we need to do every day that usually, like you said, there's more month than money.
Right.
But then it started getting into $5,000. And $6,000 and $10,000. Well, I've already bought all of the little stuff. I've already taken care of the day-to-day stuff. So now I seriously had to think about, okay, if I had $5,000 today, what do I need? What do I do with that? And so I have a whole list of life goals that I want to accomplish stuff. So when it started getting up into the $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 a day, where now, like you said, now I can start doing investments. Now I can start paying off homes. I can go on like lavish cruises. I can do what I want to do.
Right.
And honestly, at the beginning, up until it was like the $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, it just felt like, okay, I'm just going through a process. It was just okay. But then for me, when I could literally take care of something on my to-do list, and here's my beliefs that I'm working through, is that even though I have them written down and I look at them almost every single day, I have a disbelief that I will accomplish them anytime soon, because some of the things I have on that list are like insanely big. And yet when I sat down and I researched and I looked at pricing and I actually found where I could do XYZ, give you a perfect example. I want to drive a NASCAR, and I want to drive a rally car, and I want to go to an HRA drag strip, and I want to drive in a car. I have those written down, but I was like, well, okay, I found out, okay, I have $30,000 to spend today. And I looked and I was like, holy shit, I can actually do these things. And I budgeted it out, and I got my hotel room, and I got my flight, and I did everything. I was like, I'm getting goosebumps just remembering it. And I was like, holy crap, this can actually happen. You know, I can get my pilot's license and I can pay for it. So those moments, my mom's on with us, Claudia is on with us. One of the things that her and I've always wanted to do was create a place for up in Idaho, Montana, it gets ridiculously cold. The winters are really long. So homeless really struggle during that time because they have no place to go. Well, right. Mom's had this thing that she's wanted to do for a long time, is just basically rent a hotel, an entire freaking hotel, and for X amount of time for these people to live in so that they can. That was one of our deals. It was, I don't know, we had a $250,000 day. So we sat down, we did the numbers, and we figured it out. We actually called a hotel to find out, hey, you have X number of rooms. What would it cost to rent the whole thing out? And it was like, holy crap, this could actually happen. It's not just fantasy land. This could actually happen. So I can go on and on and on. But
so here's the thing that happened that allowed you to go out and start investigating that. You didn't have to ask how you were going to get the money. That's the burden that most of us experience. Like if we are going to buy a new car, or we're going to buy a trip somewhere to Hawaii, the first thing that we do is we start working on the how. We don't dream. We don't think about, wow, if I'm going on a cruise, which excursions do I really want to do? Do I want to swim with the dolphins, or do I want to hike up those falls in Jamaica? What do I really want to do? What do I want? We don't think about what we want. We immediately, and this is how we've been preconditioned again, because remember, we don't know anything about money when we're born. Nothing. It's just paper and coins that society and parents and everything else has told us what it is, right? And so we give meaning to that. But if you're given the money, then you start to learn that money flows. Money is meant to flow. Money is not meant to be hoarded and stashed away because we're afraid there's not going to be enough. That's one of the rules we have in the game, is you can't save.
Right. You have to spend every dime of it.
And people are like, why? I don't understand why I can't save. Well, it's because we know why you want to save. You want to save because you're afraid. There's a fear in you that says there's not enough, and so you need to save it. Now, we're not against saving. Trust me. We're not at all against saving. Saving needs to happen. People need a healthy savings account, 401k, and all that.
But in this context, in the purpose of this exercise.
That's it.
Right.
We are trying to help you see where your money mindset, where your blocks are, where's your ceiling. So you're definitely going to bump up against your ceiling because you're going to start feeling the pressure. You'll feel it somewhere in your body, most likely, or in your mind. You know, you'll start thinking, oh, this is stupid. It's just a game. Or you might think, some other things. Hey, Darlene,
so
you may start thinking, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so John Logan, this is a good buddy of mine, and his brain's way bigger than I am. So this is one for you. He says, the brain will do the same thing for social interactions based on the fiction we consume in film and lit.
Amen. Absolutely. Anything that you put into your mind, whether it's through, your visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, or thinking through things, that all gets filed into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind controls your life, and you don't even know it unless you start to examine these things as they come up. And so inside of the spend the money game, when we run a game, we put that pressure on you intentionally. And then we have to remind you that it's funny money. And so, I know we have some people on who have played. Wynn and Darlene have played the game before, so maybe they can pop in their experience too.
That'd be incredible. So here's what's incredible also is we're a half an hour into this thing. Our time has just went gone. So I'm not going to cut us off though. Everybody, I try to keep it as close to a half an hour show because let's just be honest, our attention span kind of gets
Right.
wonky after that.
I
But
agree.
here's the thing: I don't want to cut us off right now, but I do want to ask everyone that's on right at this moment. This is incredible information, and yes, I ask everyone to share because that's the game that we play when we're doing live streaming. This
Sure.
time, I'm not asking for me; I'm asking for everyone else. Please share this, not just a blind share. Please blind share it, but if you know someone that could use this information, that you know they're struggling, this is a very soft way for this conversation to be brought up. And Rhonda is amazing at conversations. She is not presumptuous. She's just so easy to talk to, and her knowledge on all of this is extremely extensive. So do me a favor, share it, throw it in the comments to make sure that we have it. Also, make sure that you're giving her a bunch of hearts right now because Rhonda knows her stuff. I mean, this is no joke, guys. This is legit.
So, wow, look here. We've got some comments coming in of people who've played.
Oh, okay. So my mommy, she brings up a good point too. Post World War II saving of items, just in case we need it. I grew up in that environment. That was the environment I grew up in, was an older community, older baby boomers and World War IIs. So it was, and also ranchers. Let's be honest. If you're a rancher or farmer, you don't get rid of anything. You save and hold everything because you don't know when you could. And if you looked at my shop, my wife would verify that I still have that mentality. I don't throw lumber away. I don't throw anything away because I may need it. Right. What else do we have down
Well,
there?
now, so what I wanted to point out, though, about what Claudia said, that's absolute evidence of social conditioning.
Absolutely.
She came out of World War II, or her parents did come out of World War II. They had that, there wasn't enough. They, got oranges for Christmas and those types of things, or a rag doll or something, nothing like the way we live now. And so they have that automatic reaction about money because of the conditioning.
Yep, absolutely. Here's when, felt like I ran out of ideas some days on what to spend it on. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you that there's a lady who has played the game 3 times for sure. And I talk about her often because, everybody comes into that situation where they're like, I don't know, that's more money. Like I said, we ask you to spend by midnight more money than most of us earn in a year or 2 or 3, depending upon, your economic situation. And so you run out of ideas because you've never thought that far. So we give you the opportunity to actually create in your imagination something bigger than you've ever experienced or dreamed of in your life.
Yep.
And that becomes difficult for some people because, again, of their conditioning. They're conditioned to stay here. They're conditioned to think about money there and so forth. And that's the issue.
Yep, absolutely.
So, hey, Corinne.
I remember a mutual buddy of ours, Jason Sargent. He's been on here. He bought a stinking airplane. And
well, now we are playing the game a little bit differently now, Dale, since when you played, because you played the extended version, the very first one where we spent like $1 million. It was called Spend $1 Million, and we've actually changed it because I'll tell you why we changed it, because we noticed that as soon as we hit $10,000, we lost 30% of the people.
Wow.
Gone. Did not even know what to do with 10,000. Too much.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then when we hit 100,000, when we hit over that, we wound up losing another third. So we ended up starting the first game we did with 187 people and only 47 people finished. So isn't that a little crazy?
That's a great test for you, though, testament to you, though, to say, listen, this is an issue. Seriously, those numbers, I know you're not a huge numbers person, but those numbers are super important, though, to validate what you're saying.
Yeah. One of the things that you and I were talking about behind the scenes beforehand is that, really, Mr. Moneybucks, He really is a Mr. Moneybucks. He don't worry about money ever. He's a long range planner. You know, he positioned us where we could retire. He could retire at 55. He turned out retiring at 57. So he missed it by a couple years. Not very many people do that these days, right? So I'm the one who has had the money mindset issues. And so this is why I'm so familiar with it. And I know where people are, and I still have breakdowns. He came home a couple weeks ago, wanted to talk about annuities. I thought I was going to have a panic attack. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And I don't want to know, except it looks to me like, you know, we've worked so hard, and all he wanted to do was talk about it. He's not even, what he recognized during playing the game himself was that he had a gap in his own education around annuities. And so he has set about over the last 2 weeks just to explore it. Yep. Not to take one out, just to understand what it is and how it works. And I thought I was going to come unglued.
But you know, and that's okay. So let's touch on this and then we'll wrap it up, because you and I can do another 2.5 hours of this. Is that conversation? You know, when these feelings come in, and it becomes palpable, and our chest tightening, or, you know, whatever the reaction is, it's interesting to me how, even though, because this happens in my household as well, it's like, I just want to have a conversation about X. We'll use money. I just want to talk about, hey, wouldn't it be great to XYZ? Or, man, imagine if la, 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 la. And then it just kind of turns into this, because we're not on the same page. We don't communicate the same way. And, you know, you just brought up a great example, is that he just wanted to talk about it. There's no forward momentum. It's not like I'm getting out my checkbook. It's just a conversation. But even in a conversation, isn't it incredible how these things can affect us this significantly?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And the good news is he was like, before the spend the money game, he would have gotten frustrated and probably stormed off and so forth. And instead he just sat, he didn't get it. You know, like, he's like, I have no idea why she's weeping. No, honey, your mascara is good. We were in the middle of a restaurant, you know. He's like, you're good. Everything's great. You know, he didn't even know what to say to the waitress, because, like, he didn't have anything to do with this, you know? And so the good news is now we're talking about it. Now he's coming, hey, let me tell you what I found out about that. And guess what about this? And if we were to do that, we need to make sure about that. And so now I can have the conversation with him. Now, it used to be the same way. On the other hand, let me just share, where I tend to be more global in my thinking. I'm pretty good at you know, ideating and thinking futuristically. And as you and I know, that has to do with StrengthsFinder talents that I understand about myself. And so I remember one time we were driving somewhere, and I'm just expounding on this idea that I had about something. And I could literally see his hands tighten on the steering wheel. I could feel his energy just like totally tighten up. And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm just dreaming. You don't have to jump into action and get any of this done. But he's action oriented. And so as he heard me speaking about the things that we're going to, he immediately started thinking, how am I going to pay for that? How am I going to get the money for that? How are we going to work out the details on that? And that's where people go when they are dreaming and thinking about things in the future that they want. They start worrying about the how, which stops the dreaming.
Yep.
And it's in the dreaming that you get the experience, and that you find the way.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. My wife and I'm the dreamer, and she's the pragmatist, I guess would be the right way to put it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or indifferent. But yeah, same thing. I'll be like, oh man, what if blah, 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 blah. And she just goes, no. I'm like, no, it's not a yes or no thing. It's just conversation. It's just
a conversation.
It's just whatever. She's like, no. Yes, ma'am. You know,
not going there.
Yeah, exactly. So here's one here. When any thoughts on what influences our dominant talent themes? What's your
So she's a Clifton Strengths nerd, a strengths nerd like I am, and so absolutely. When I believe that the Clifton Strengths Finder assessment it identifies what your dominant patterns of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are, and from that we can certainly take a look at and understand how you think naturally, and then we can offer you the opportunity to think a little bit differently and see how that, just try it on. It's like trying on a jacket and seeing if it fits, but it allows you to dream again, I think, and that's what we have found too, is that when couples play the game together, they start dreaming together. I mean, a girl just posted yesterday on her Facebook page, "We're going to Hawaii." Well, I know that was a game. I know that was a dream she posted in the game, and now they're going.
Nice.
Amazing things happen in the game
because we're allowing ourselves to do it. That's the thing. So in my personal life and in my personal, and then we're going to wrap this up. I promise. This is only the third time I've said we've done this, but in my personal life, I'm working through a lot of these money mindset and releasing. But when it comes to business and those kind of thoughts, I'm very free. It's interesting, the dynamic difference between my personal life and my business life is. In my business life, Rhonda, you and I could sit down and talk about a business idea, and I'll help you flesh it out. And there's no restrictions in my mind as to what we can accomplish and what we can do. The how and whatnot, I don't give two craps about at this moment, and it's liberating. And a lot of people utilize that because they're like, "Dale, I had an idea. What about this?" I'm like, "Shit, let's talk about it. Let's roll through it and let's figure it out."
Right.
So yeah, it's incredible. I love it.
And some people can't do that without immediately switching their brain to going to the how. And so that's why when they're playing the game, we remove the how.
Right.
We remove it. You don't have to worry about where the money's coming from. We're giving it to you, even though it's funny money. Your mind doesn't know that as long as you're playing it the way we tell you to play. So yeah, it's
awesome.
fun.
Rhonda, okay, everyone else, I'm going to do this one more time. This is a show that you need to share out. You need to have conversation. And Rhonda, I think this is one of my themes in life from now on, is people need to have conversations. We need to let shit go and just converse and just let's have a conversation. Let's work through this stuff without preambles, without going, whatever. So guys, let's start this conversation. Rhonda's been having this conversation for months. I feel super privileged and honored that she allowed me to be part of that conversation. So let's do this. Share this out. Let me know that you did share it. If you were watching this on the replay, share it anyway. You don't need to be on here live. That's the beauty of this. If you're on the replay, jump on and do it. Rhonda, last thoughts, piece of advice. What do you have for us?
Well, just come join us and play, and we will help you understand your relationship with money and then what you can do about it if you want to change it. So I'll put the link in after we're done, and then you can come join us.
Please do. All right, Rhonda, I appreciate you. Stay in the lobby. I'm not going. I'm not done with you. I'm not done with you. All right.
Thanks, Dale. We'll see you.
Time.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
All right. Holy crap. That was absolutely, great show. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was a great show. Guys, I'm so freaking privileged, and I'm so blessed to have people like Rhonda, Boyle, who is willing to jump on here and educate us and take us to the next level and just share. It's crazy to me over the last just 2 weeks. Let's be honest for a second. Just over the last 2 weeks, I've had more people approach me and talk to me about kickassery, the thing that we're doing right here. And, that all I do is I say, listen, I have conversations with influencers in my life, and it's now grown. Like Rhonda, I didn't know Rhonda before 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. I don't even remember. And she was introduced to me by a buddy, John Mayhew. He was on the show as well. And now I am just going out and being introduced and talking to incredible influencers all over the stinking world, because folks like Rhonda are willing to sit down and have a conversation and educate. And so I'm super stoked. I'm going to close with this, guys. Tomorrow on the Week in Review, this is what we're going to be talking about. Also, we have the Kick-Assery Influencer Scavenger Hunt, which is in the comments below. It's the pinned. Guys, you get to experience my influencers. I want to experience your influencers as well. Take the challenge, play the game. It's super easy. It's a lot of fun. And with all that said, let's go out, rock your day, and keep smiling because somebody's going to need it. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.